This is Rockin' the
Okay,
Jam Man. It's with Jim McCarty from the Yardbirds. How you doing, man?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good to be here.
Well, no, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being on our show, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank
So, congratulations on your new book, She Walks in Beauty. Congratulations on that book.
you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Did you look at it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, it's a bit a bit of a departure from rock and roll, but I do go into some of the past things that have happened, and I was really really prompted to write it because it came true so strongly from my wife, that she wanted me to do some writing. First of all, it was going to be a blog, and then turned into a book. And then, I I got in touch with Dave Thompson that wrote the other book with me, and I was very surprised he was into doing a book like this because he does sort of heavy rock stuff. He's written a lot of books about rock stuff, and but he was really into it, and he was very excited about it.
So, this is a book part memory and your personal lifelong quest to unravel the mysteries of life that exist beyond the world which we live in.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Can you explain some of the things you talked about in this book?
Sure, sure. I think the main thing I discovered was that consciousness seems to carry on because I thought I was so close to my wife, and after she passed, a couple of people said to me, "Oh, they'd seen her," and a couple of people said they'd seen her in dreams and things. And they said, "Oh, yeah, she looks fine. She looks very well." And we were very close. And I thought, well, where is she? Where's she gone? And so I started studying these near-death experiences on YouTube and seeing what had happened to people, that were died for a short time. And one of them was a guy called Edmund Alexander, who was a brain surgeon, and he had some sort of horrible illness, and he was in the state where he was. I think they gave him about 2% chance of living, and his brain was totally dead, but he had all this incredible experience, which he brought back to be able to tell about it, and he said it was really wonderful, and but his brain was dead, so I suddenly believed that the consciousness lives on after we die, and it's nothing to do with our brain. It's sort of quite separate.
It's your soul.
It's a bit of relation.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm sure. I can't explain it. There's no real explanation. I haven't actually seen a ghost, so I don't know. But Dave Thompson, who wrote the book with me, he said he used to see one. He used to live in Seattle, and he used to see a woman walk up the stairs and go and do her washing. And she was from years ago. She was like hundreds of years before or whatever, and but he could see it quite clearly. So lots of people have talked about it, and I have no reason not to disbelieve it. But I can't really I can't really say what it's about, or why they seem to hang around in places, and they don't move on.
Ever think about doing a TV show on this, on your book?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'd love to, but I suppose to get in the right. Maybe someone would ask me, and Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea. I think it would
Yeah.
very
Yeah. What?
interesting. It could definitely
Yeah.
make.
Yeah. It would be good. Yeah. I'd like it very much. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see that soon.
I'll let you know if it ever happens.
Okay. Thank you, man. Can you believe you are almost on the 60th anniversary of the Yardbirds?
Yeah, isn't it incredible? It's amazing, isn't it? I don't, I can't really understand why the music still sounds good and why people still like it. It's one of those mysteries to me because when we started off playing in the band, we just we thought it would last a couple of years or something, but 60 years. In fact, I worked in a stockbrokers in London, and I was working 9 to 5 in the office, and I was playing in the evening with the Yardbirds when we just started, and it was a bit too much for me. So I went to my boss and I said, "Well, I'm in this band and it's doing quite well." I said, "I'm going to have to leave the job, but can I have my job back, in a year or so when the band just splits, when it all falls down, It was like, 60 years ago."
Any big 60th anniversary plans? Anniversary?
No, but we had a 50th one. We had a 50th gig in Twickenham, which is more or less where we used to play, around south. We had a gig there, but none of the big guitarists showed up, I'm afraid. But but there was me and Chris Dreyer and a good band, and we played, and it was a good night. Yeah.
Did you ever imagine your career would have been as big as when you first started out? Did you ever imagine this would happen?
No, not at all. In fact, we were just a cover band. We were just playing blues stuff, Howling Wolf and Jimmy Reed, Bo Diddley, that sort of stuff. And then we gradually got into doing singles, and we were lucky we had hit singles, and then we carried on and established a sort of I think with Jeff Beck, really, we established a sound that people said, "Oh, this was psychedelic," but I suppose it was quite sort of futuristic. And no, I never imagined we were gonna get so popular.
Now you guys became the house band at the Crawdaddy Club at the house band before you was Rolling Stones.
Right, yes, yeah. We used to go and see the Stones at the club. It was in Richmond, in Surrey, and of course they got too big for the club. They started having hits, and they went on a nationwide tour around England. And so we went to the promoter of the club was a guy called Giorgio Kamowski, who actually became our manager in the end. And he came to see us play in rehearsal, and he thought we were we were like the Stones, but we were that bit different because we did sort of build-ups in our music. We did we did bass and drums build up to crescendos and things like that. And he thought, "Oh, this is unusual." So they're sufficiently different from the Stones. So he signed us up to play there.
Was this right around the time Eric Clapton joined the band?
Sorry, I didn't get it. What was the?
Was this right around the time Eric Clapton joined the band?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, I think he joined just after we started at the Crawdaddy. So the original guitar player, Topham, he was a bit too young for the band, and his parents wanted him to go and carry on studying to be an artist, which he was quite good at. And so he had to leave the band, and that's when Clapton joined. And that was exactly around that time. Yeah, you're quite right.
Now, is this true that he left the band because For Your Love was becoming a big hit and he did not like the style of the music?
Well, yes, he left before it was released, but yes, he thought it was too pop. That was one of the reasons he left. There were other things going on. He had some issues with some of the guys in the band as well, and also he was difficult to. He was a difficult person to be in a band because he wanted to call all the shots. He wanted to do it his way. So he was always going to be a solo artist, really. And so he left.
But you did songs kind of like that on your cover album. One song sticks out the most is She's So Respectable.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, that was Eric's idea to do that one. I think he brought that song in and said, "Oh, let's do this one." And yeah, that was a good idea. That was a great song. Yeah.
Now, was he a part of the writing session for that song? And did he appear on the original recording of For Your Love?
Yes. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And are you talking about For Your Love or She's So Respectable? Because She's
For Your
So
Love.
Respectable. Yeah, For Your Love. Yeah, that was written by someone called Graham Gouldman, who was in 10cc a bit later. And he was a young songwriter from Manchester in the north of England. And he was like, probably about 18 or something when he wrote that song. And he also wrote songs for the Hollies and Herman's Hermit. So he was quite successful. But yeah, Eric played on the record. Yeah.
So if he knew about the song, why did he quit after it became a hit?
Well, he quit just before it came out, really. So he quit. He didn't quit after it became a hit. He quit just before it came out. So I think he knew it was going to be a hit, But yes, it was a strange choice in a way, wasn't it? But he had his own ideas. He was quite strong and quite an independent guy, So.
Now I watched a video of your guys on a show called Shindig, and the song sounded a little different on the show. Was that because you were nervous?
Well, were we playing live? I guess we were playing live, and maybe, yeah. Which record was it? For Your Love or another one?
For Your Love. Yeah, For Your Love.
Oh, yeah. Well, usually when you play it live, it's can be quite different. It was probably a bit fast. Usually live recordings are faster than the record. Maybe we didn't have the exact instrumental lineup. It can be quite different, yeah, live to the record.
What was it like being on TV back then and all those girls screaming and going crazy? What was that like?
Well, it was yeah, it was funny. I mean, that seemed to be the way. We played we played a whole week with the Beatles in London. We were on their show, and when the Beatles came on, you couldn't hear anything. What they were playing, you couldn't hear the songs or anything. You could only hear from backstage. And I don't know. It was I guess it was fun in a way because you were popular. We were popular, and being on television was special. And I know my mum really liked it. As soon as I got on television, she thought I'd really made it.
But But he recommended Jimmy Page to take his place, but turned out you onto Jeff Beck instead. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, Jimmy Page was a session musician, and he was playing on a lot of the records uh, recorded in London. And he was probably the top guitar player at the time on those sort of sessions. And he didn't want to join a band, and so he said, "Oh, why don't you try my understudy, a friend of mine called Jeff Beck." So Jeff Beck was ready to join, and he was great. He was quite different to Eric, but he played a wide variety of styles. He didn't just play blues. He liked jazz stuff, and he liked Les Paul and Mary Ford, or an electronic sort of music and all that stuff. So he was quite wild with his sound, and quite had a huge variety of sound compared to Eric.
And Jeff had a real electric style that you can really hear in the songs like Shape of Things and A Heart Full of Soul.
Yeah, he did. He was very good on his effects. He had lots of pedals in the early days before a guitarist had pedals, and he loved distortion. He had the distortion pedal and wah-wahs and all that stuff, and feedback as well. He used to get a lot of feedback. He liked that sort of feedback he got on the Shapes of Things.
And you guys got to tour in the States, right?
Yes. Yeah, we did that. We recorded that in Chess Studios in Chicago, which was studios where all the blues players recorded, Howling Wolf, Muddy Waters, and all those people. And so it was a great old studio.
What was it like touring the US for the first time?
Oh, it's fantastic. It was after being in England, it was so small. Coming to America was like huge, and before we came, we had to, to get our visa from the American embassy. So we went in and saw the American ambassador in those days, and the American ambassador, said, "Oh yes, you're going to go here and you're going to go there, and that's that's 1,000 miles there and another 1,000 here," and we thought, "Oh my God, it's incredible! It's so huge." And it was really, but it was really exciting to us because we'd seen all the movies on TV, all the westerns and and all the sort of beach movies and all the gangsters, and it was so exciting after seeing that, and also it was where all the blues music came from and all the great jazz. So as soon as we came over, we went to all the New York clubs or the Chicago clubs and saw the blues guys or the jazz guys.
No, it said you were the first physical psychedelic rock band to agree with that.
Well, yeah, they said that somebody made up that psychedelic. We didn't really call it that, but we were just having fun with the music and wanted to make it a bit different. And Jeff had all his sounds and everything, so I guess it was. If you look at it in a certain way, it was sort of psychedelic, and it was almost like we were taking drugs. People thought we were taking acid or something, and of course we weren't. It was just we were just having fun.
Now, were you into the psychedelic scene?
Well, we thought, yeah. I mean, to a point. I mean, we didn't take lots of drugs, but maybe we had some marijuana now and then, but not really big time.
What was the scene like in the UK compared to the US?
It was Well, as I said, it was smaller. There were lots of clubs, and it was. I mean, you could drive up from south to north up one motorway. So there was one motorway going up the country called the M1. So it's just one road, and so if you stop in a cafe on the motorway, you'd see all the other bands, or go to a nightclub in London and all the other bands were there. You'd even see the Beatles, and people who Keith Moon and all those guys. You'd see them in the London clubs. So it was like a sort of small scene.
Now I remember hearing about Johnny Winter used to do LSD before shows, and one time he was on a revolving stage and did not know how to do it and thought he was freaking out.
Oh right, yes, I can believe that. Yeah, I imagine that could be a bit weird because if you take LSD, you never know how it's going to turn out.
And trust me, oh no, I did not mean to say that. I just said trust me. I'm sorry, but you definitely don't know what's gonna happen there. Oh my god! Now I just basically said oh my god.
Very dangerous.
Did anything like that ever happen to you guys?
No, but we were doing the Fillmore one time, and this guy came up. He was called Owsley. Actually, his real name was Owsley something else, but I can't remember. But he was like a professor, and he made all the acid on the West Coast. He made like millions and millions of dollars of it. But he turned up at one of our gigs in the Fillmore, and he looked like a biker. He had long greasy hair and a biker jacket on, and he gave us like a whole handful of assorted drugs, whatever they were. And I did take some of his acid, and it didn't really do me any good actually. So yeah, I'm sorry I took it because I was pretty ill for a while after that.
Now tell me about the show at Queen's College in Oxford when Jimmy Page joined the band.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, Jimmy Page wasn't in the band then, but he was watching. He was in the audience, and I think he was with Mama Cass or something from the Mamas and Papas, and we had to play like 3 1-hour sets throughout the night, quite late, and we got quite tired, and also there was an awful lot of alcohol around. And Keith Ralph, the singer, he had quite a lot to drink. And by the time we got to the third set, it was maybe 4 a.m. or something, and he was drunk, and he started, he started insulting the audience that were all like Cambridge students. And Paul Samwell-Smith, the bass player, got very embarrassed because he was always very snobby. He always thought, oh, you can't insult the students from Cambridge. and so after that, he decided to leave. He said, oh, well, I'm very tired of the band anyway, and I want to be a record producer. And that was the last straw, that terrible show. But Jimmy Page actually liked it. He thought it was great. It was like a sort of an early punk band in a way, so he joined us on bass at that time when Paul left.
Now he started on bass until Jeff got sick and started playing the guitar.
Yeah, well, they swapped over before Jeff got sick. Actually, Chris Dreyer went on to bass, who was playing rhythm guitar, and then Jimmy and Jeff were both playing lead guitars. Yeah, and we played for a few months like that. We did a tour with the Rolling Stones in England, the Rolling Stones and Tina Turner, and that went pretty well. And then yeah, Jeff got sick, and we were on this Dick Clark tour around about '66, which really really quite exhausting. And it was like 30 dates in like 25 days or something mad. And so Jeff didn't like that idea, so he suddenly disappeared. And we carried on as a four-piece, just with Jimmy playing.
What was wrong with Jeff?
Well, he was very wound up. He was very very nervous sort of guy. He's always very he was always very nervous when he played, very sort of excitable, and he got very stressed out. I think it was just too much for him. And playing with Jimmy Page, Jimmy was very different. He was very relaxed, and he just played the same every night, and Jeff Beck played off the top of his head every night. It was totally different. So they were totally different personalities, and I think it was just too much for Jeff. He just sort of he just flipped.
Flipped.
He flipped. Yeah.
He flipped. He just flipped.
Yeah, he did.
Now, in 1967, you guys started doing covers in your live sets, and one that sticks out the most is "Dazed and Confused." Was Page the one who picked this track out?
Well, actually, we saw that song being played by Jake Holmes, who was a folk singer from New York. He was on the bill playing with us when we were playing in a theatre in New York. And actually, I listened to him from backstage, and I thought, well, he's quite good. He was just doing folky things. And then all of a sudden, he started playing "Dazed and Confused," and I thought, oh, this is good. This is quite different. This sort of song would suit us, because we were looking for material then, and we were a bit short of good songs. So the next day, I went down to Greenwich Village and bought his album. His, like, it was a vinyl album. And we decided to do the song, and we played it in our act for a while. And we did our own version of it.
Then in '68, the band started drifting apart over which style of music you wanted to play. Is that right?
I don't know whether it was that so much as that was part of it with Keith Relf and myself. But I think we sort of thought we'd run out of ideas, and we weren't really producing the great songs that we'd done before. And we missed Paul Samwell-Smith, and we missed Jeff Beck. We missed that sort of magic lineup we had before. And we thought, well, we're not really going anywhere. We're with Mickey Most, and we're doing some pretty awful singles. So we decided to stop, and then we went on. I mean, Jimmy carried on with the group and changed the name to Zeppelin, and we know what happened. And Keith and I finally, formed quite a different sort of band, Renaissance, with the keyboards.
And you guys did the song "Knowing That I'm Losing You," which turned later into Led Zeppelin. Yes. And Tigerman, right? Trengerin, sorry. Right before you broke up. Is that right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we did some. We did some demos in New York, and we were putting some songs together, and then "Knowing That I'm Losing You" was sort of put together by Jimmy and Keith Relf. So they got the song together and we did it. And then, yeah, it came out as Tangerine, didn't it, on the Zeppelin.
And Jimmy Page kept the band going as the New Yardbirds, but how did he get the name if he was not a founder?
Well, Keith and I, when we left the band, they had a whole load of dates lined up as the Yardbirds. So it was just a contractual thing. We sort of signed over that, Jimmy could carry on using the name to do those dates. So all the dates will be fulfilled. And finally, I think when Chris Dreyer left, Chris stopped him using the Yardbirds name, so they had to change it. So they thought, I think it was Keith Moon that thought of Led Zeppelin, Keith in the Who.
And he even had Robert Plant as the singer of the New Yardbirds.
yes, he did. Yeah, Robert and John Bonham. Yeah, they were from Birmingham and they joined him. So he got a good, pretty good players.
Did you ever see him sing "For Your Love"?
No, I didn't. What the New Yardbirds?
Yes.
No, I never saw that. No, did you see them? Did you see that?
No, I did not. No.
No, I don't. No.
Is there any recording of that?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Maybe there's some live show with it. It'll be interesting to see it because they would have done it first of all. Yeah, be interesting.
And then you got into a lawsuit over the name and became Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's right. I think that was Chris that told him to use a different name, Chris Dreyer.
Now, if you stuck with the Page during this time, do you think you would have been the drummer for Led Zeppelin?
Well, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, I think the way the band worked out was pretty good, and I think we were actually pretty tired, because we've been playing for many years, every night and touring all the time. And, we were pretty tired. So I don't think, I think it worked out better the way it did.
Were you ever upset over that the Page left and success of Led Zeppelin?
No, not really, because I knew, I knew that we'd left and it was our decision. I remember somebody came round my house about a year after Led Zeppelin had formed, and he was writing a book about them. And he showed me these photos, and he said, here's Led Zeppelin. They're playing like the biggest show ever. They're playing to like 60,000 people. And we never did that. We always played to small crowds. And so, yeah, I did feel a bit funny then. What have we done?
After John Boham passed away, do you ever express interest in taking his place?
No, I never did. No, I never did, to be honest. No, I didn't.
But you and Keith formed a band called Reason?
Renaissance, yeah.
Renaissance. Sorry.
Yeah.
Then, sorry?
Which was quite different. It was more of a prog band than a rock band, a rock band. It was more folky and progressive music, sort of with classical piano and stuff, and it was quite different.
Then you left and started Shoot. Did you like singing?
Yeah, I did that because I thought I'd like to do a project with my own songs, singing my own songs. It was just something different. But I always enjoyed singing as well of playing, and I sung with Renaissance a bit, and I sang later on as well with other bands.
That is crazy and sad. Keith died playing electric guitar from getting shot. That's really sad.
Yeah, I know. And he sort of, I don't know. His electronics went a bit crazy. He was, he plugged his guitar into a synthesizer, and he was like putting the wires in the wall, with matchsticks. So he didn't put a proper plug on. So he didn't really do the wiring very well. And then he got a shock, and unfortunately he couldn't take the shock. Yeah, it was pretty tragic.
Did this hit you hard when you heard the news?
Oh yeah. And it was funny because I heard the news from my mother, who used to work on the switchboard in the police station, in the local police station, and of course she heard that he died from the police, and so she rang me up and told me. So I knew straight away. It was a bizarre way to hear it,
Yeah, it's crazy, man, and sad.
It really is. It's very weird.
You kind of have reunited the band, but call them Box of Frogs. Why did you go with the name change?
I don't know. I think we sort of thought, oh well, it wasn't. I know later we did form, call it the Yardbirds. I think with the Box of Frogs, the idea was that we wouldn't call it the Yardbirds because it wasn't quite the Yardbirds, so we make up a name, and somebody came up with that name, Box of Frogs, which we thought was quite funny. So it was quite funny, We had a lot of fun doing it.
Now you got Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck both to be a part of that project. Did you ask Eric Clapton? Did you ever ask him?
What to do which project? The Box of Frogs?
Yeah, Box of Frogs. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody else asked me that. I'm not sure. I don't think we did actually. I remember around about that time, we did a show at the Marquee Club. It was their 20th anniversary, and they wanted us to get a band together and play. And Paul Smith and Chris Strayer and myself played. Oh, and I remember ringing Eric up, and I spoke to him, and I said, "Oh, we're doing this Marquee Club. Do you want to come and play? Just for the night?" And he said, "Oh well, I can't play because I'm packing my bag to go to America. I'm going to America tomorrow or something." So it was the wrong timing. So I did ask him to play on there, but I don't think he got asked to be in the Frogs. So it would have been good.
Are you still friends with any of those guys and still talk with them?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yeah, not Eric so much, but yeah, Jeff and Jimmy. Jimmy, I think mainly because we did a project fairly recently where we brought out an old show we'd recorded in the 60s before we broke up, live at the Anderson Theatre, and it never really came out. But Jimmy remixed it and remastered it, and brought it out, and we called it Yardbirds 68. That came out about 3 or 4 years ago.
Have you played with any of them recently?
No, I haven't actually. No, I haven't. No.
Then you guys all got back together when you got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was a great night. It was nice to be honored, in that way, and meet lots of big, rock and roll stars. B.B. King and who else? Keith Richard and Little Richard, and all these people were there. Yeah, it was good fun.
And the new lineup toured with the Animals' new lineup. Is that right?
Uh, yeah, we started. We went back on the road because there was an agent that was booking the animals as well, and we started doing a few tours with them in England, and then it went from there, you know. And we did a couple in the States as well.
And now with countless lineup changes up, you still carry on the Yardbirds. That's on the
Yeah,
Yardbirds.
yeah. I've actually got to the point now where because Chris Dreyer was part of it, and then he got ill. He had some strokes, you know, and he had a stroke while he was on tour and everything, so he can't play anymore. So it's sort of quite bizarre. I'm the only one left, and all the rest of the band are all Americans. So you know, I'm the only English, you know, British invasion person now. But I like to do it. It always sounds great. You know, they're good musicians, and it's a good repertoire. It's a strong repertoire.
And that is awesome. You still got to go out and play all those hits, man. You still got to go, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, yeah, and yeah, I'm getting on a bit now as well. So I make sure I keep fit.
When was the last time you played a show? When was the last time?
The last time, yeah, we were going to be playing. We were going to be coming in October, but the last time was we played in Seattle, the beginning of last year, around about February. Yeah, that was the last show we did. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
but COVID wasn't that big yet, and yeah.
yeah, that's right. It was just started after that. Yeah.
Can you believe the world shut down for an entire year? Technically 2 years.
No, it's amazing, isn't it? Oh, it's terrible. I mean, terrible. And what it's done to music and everything, you know. I guess a lot of venues have closed. A lot of venues in America have closed down. And yeah, it's a bit sad. But we'll be coming back in April, all being well.
I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of your wife. I'm very sorry about that. I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. Thank you.
It must have been a very hard during the lockdown. It must have been very hard.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And yeah, everything had been going pretty well for me up to then. And then that was a big shock. And then the lockdown as well. So that was a tricky period to get through. Yeah.
And this was the inspiration that led you to write this new book.
Yes. I think it was a way of getting through it, and also trying to find out, you know, and trying to communicate with her as well, which was, you know, a positive thing, and it worked really well, and helped me a lot with the grieving.
Are planning on the Yardbirds tour? Are you guys planning on Yardbirds tours? Are you guys planning on that?
Yeah, we do. We're coming back in April, and I think the first gig will be the Flower Power cruise, which is a cruise which goes down in Florida around the Caribbean, and there's a lot of Flower Power bands on, you know, Jefferson Starship and all those sort of bands, and yeah, we've done 2 of them before. They're always good fun. That's in March.
Is it scary thinking about touring with all these bands getting COVID? Is it scary?
What? Because of what? Why is it scary?
Because of all these bands getting COVID.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's an issue, isn't it?
Yeah. So you guys are gonna be extra safe?
Yeah, we have to be very careful. Yeah, really. I don't think I'll wear a mask though when I play. I don't think.
Well, you can't wear a mask when you're playing, but
yeah, it'd be difficult to sing.
What was your favorite memory from playing the show? What was your favorite memory?
My favorite, well, I guess the best memory would be the Hall of Fame induction. but there's a few shows that we did, particularly with the Jeff Beck lineup, that really clicked, with the band. I mean, I think there were a couple of small shows where we played like in a club, and when the band really ticked together, it was great because we had a really good chemistry together.
What is your worst memory?
Oh dear. My worst memory. That's a good one. Probably when Jeff left and he smashed up his Les Paul. He lost his temper and he was so wound up. He smashed his guitar on a table in the dressing room, and then just ran off. That was a pretty bad memory.
What is next for you?
What is what?
What is next for you? What is next for you?
Oh, next for me. Well, I'm promoting the book. Like I'm with you, and we'll see where that goes. And then in March we've got that Flower Power cruise, and then we've got some dates on the East Coast, playing up on around New York and Philadelphia and stuff.
How do my followers follow you? How do my followers follow you?
How do
my followers follow you? Where can they go to your website or Facebook?
Oh, they can go to the yardbird.com or jimmccarty.co.uk or Facebook. There's a Facebook page, Yardbirds Facebook, and Jim McCarty Facebook and all that. Yeah.
And they can get your tour dates and buy your book and everything there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Is there any way you can sign a copy of your book and send it to me for my collection? Is there?
There is. I'm willing to do that. I just need your address.
Okay, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I need your address, so maybe you can tell John.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well,
okay.
Thank you for being on my show, man. I hope the next time we talk is at the backstage on one of your shows. This was an awesome interview. Thank you for being on my show, man.
Okay. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, man. God bless you.
God bless you. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day. Oh my God. Why is there so many notifications? Oh my God.